Hey guys, so it's been about a year and a half since I last did a video about random obscure things in KH1, and I've been slowly amassing stuff for a part 3, and I was in the awkward spot of being both above and below a nice round number of things to present, but then I realized it's actually the perfect number. So here's a bit of a throwback to 2019 era regular Pat, 13 additional quirks about my favorite game, Kingdom Hearts the First. Let's get started. So you probably know that the first dark side fight in the Dive to the Heart has absolutely no stakes, and there's no penalty for dying. The story just carries on like normal regardless of what happens. But somehow for 19 years I never thought about purposefully dying to any of the shadows beforehand. Unlike dying to Darkseid, which just ends the fight, the game will splash you with a potion if you dip too low into your health. Like, Jesus, what is this kid doing? Given that even my 6-year-old self never ran into this predicament, I figure most people probably haven't either unless they were outright looking for it. This next one was pointed out to me when I was streaming in my Discord server a few months ago, and I somehow missed it for a good while, but you can break this rock hiding one of the mushrooms on the second day on Destiny Islands. If you nudge it a little bit to the right and jump into it at the right angle, the game will get very stressed out because Sora will just float there unless someone does something about it, so it just explodes the rock to fix the problem. It has a sound and an animation for it too, so that's neat. So this is one that definitely existed for a good while, but I totally missed it until it was pointed out to me in the comments of the last video, and I can't find the original comment, but luckily someone named Wazao pointed out the exact same thing just a few days ago. When you first arrive in Traverse Town after the second Darkseid fight, you can basically soft lock your game by skipping the little text bubble cutscene when Sora talks about being in a new world. You have to do a really annoying and precise jump where you hop onto the item shop roof and then just barely grab onto the accessory shop roof. But from there you can just go around the little flag that triggers the cutscene, and now your game is effectively broken. For that reason, I would recommend making sure you have a save in the Seaside Shack during the Destiny Islands apocalypse. But yeah, the game sort of goes to a post-guard armor state, but with some weird quirks to it. Heartless never spawn, but Donald and Goofy also never show up either. Along with them, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are nowhere to be seen, and Sid is already replaced by Travis the store clerk, shout out to Super Spaghetti Bros. Leon actually shows up early, just chilling outside the Dalmatian house as if you've already met and taken care of guard armor. There's essentially nothing you can really do, and you're pretty much trapped in this alternate reality Traverse Town, can't progress the plot, can't leave the world, so again, if you save here, it's basically a big, pretty prison. Thankfully, you've got 98 other slots. This is a smaller one that was brought to my attention during my Twitch stream, but you can hit this grate on the furnace in the bazaar room. To no real effect, but it has like that hit detection-y feel of when you successfully hit something. Perhaps more interestingly, you can cast fire on it and this actually lights the stovetops, and it'll stay lit for the entire world. Basically all this does is help out the Trickmaster when he goes into his second phase, because he'd usually have to light that himself. I think the only treasure I missed back in my KH1 treasure guide was this third missable treasure in the rabbit hole in Wonderland, pointed out by Tony here. I noted in the guide that you can get a camping set if you fight 3 waves of Heartless prior to saving Kairi at Hollow Bastion, and after that it's replaced by a Mega Elixir if you fight the mobs here afterwards. But there's actually a middle treasure that's only there after sealing the Wonderland keyhole but before the Hollow Bastion rescue. So it's a camping set before sealing the keyhole, a Mega Potion after that but before Hollow Bastion 2, and a Mega Elixir after that. Yet another Wonderland thing here, one of my Discord mods, Violet, let me know that you can get 3 Wonderland chests like 3 worlds earlier than planned if you use high jump at a specific spot. The game wants you to come back after Neverland with Glide to get this treasure here, and by proxy 2 more in the Tea Party Garden, but you can get them as soon as midway through Monstro if you do a high jump that's semi-awkward but still totally doable. You know, I've been told that I'm semi-awkward, but still totally do. Next is one that I pointed out in the first part of the best rooms in every Kingdom Hearts world, but I only found out recently that the chests you spawn by doing the Trinity jumps in the Coliseum gates are totally visible beforehand. I guess I thought they just materialized from nothing and fell down from the sky, but if you look up, they're just hanging out on the statue's arms. So the sheer force with which the trio jumps is enough to register on the Olympic Richter scale and cause the chests to fall off the statues. So I cannot for the life of me find the comment that pointed this out, but there's a strange glitch that you can very easily force to happen on your first visit to Olympus Coliseum. Basically, you talk to Phil for the first time, then open the journal, then attempt to push the pedestal, then talk to Phil again. This basically sends the subtitles into a frenzy, and you can see a bunch of menu and notification text pop up in place of the dialogue. Hitting some of the face buttons like X and triangle also seems to have an effect on the cutscene, either making the text disappear or making voice clips play earlier.
You've got heroes standing right in front of you.
Yup, he's a real hero chosen by the Keyblade.
Heroes too.
Hero? That front?
What's so funny? I fought a bunch of monsters.
Hey,
Again, like with the Traverse Town glitch, I'd recommend having a backup save before you start the glitch because you can end up soft-locking your game if you talk to Phil again after the cutscene. Sometimes you can progress to the barrel minigame like normal if you just press X, but I think I was moving the control stick here and that made the game sad and froze it. I was also shown a similar glitch that Stickman Sham made a video about, except you're essentially doing the same journal manipulation in Wonderland instead. You watch the first Cheshire Cat cutscene, open the journal, then talk to Alice, and the game just completely melts, lying about giving you a bunch of different magic spells and the complete gummy set. There's probably an explanation for this involving how the game stores text and, like, data values or something, but it's above my pay grade. Let me know if you know the technical and nerdy explanation for what's going on here. Next one comes from a commenter named Benjamin Button on my KH1 World Rankings, in which I discussed an easy way to remember the right path through Monstro. Essentially, after you enter Chamber 2 from Chamber 1, the next door to lead you to the first Parasite Cage battle is always going to be whichever one Sora is facing or physically closest to you after exiting the last chamber. But on top of that, Mr. Button pointed out that the doors are actually color-coded. The ones that lead you to progression glow green instead of the normal blue color. On top of that, if you talk to Geppetto enough times in the mouth area, he'll eventually tell you about these green monsters that lure you deeper into Monstro. He tells you to beware of them, but the game is actually trying to give you a progression hint here. The green monsters refers to the green Requiem Heartless, which pretty much always spawn above the chamber entrance that leads you to the bowels. In whale exploration and mediocre YouTube content, the same advice goes: follow the green. This one's probably the most obvious one I'm including here, but I honestly didn't notice it until I was streaming KH1 a few months ago. But during the fight against Glut the Shark in Atlantica, he'll sometimes do this ramming attack, and if you're lined up with a wall, he'll charge right into it and get all scrunched up like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Again, probably not that obscure, but I think I always just killed the shark too quickly to ever see it until recently. Another one pointed out to me from someone in my Discord, here in the 100 Acre Wood, there's actually an indicator for whether or not you've cleared the necessary score in each minigame to get Sora's cheer ability. When you first show up, all of the honey pots here are empty, and they'll fill up as you clear the minimum requirement for getting cheer. I don't think the game ever tells you what it means, and you're probably better off just checking the wiki to know what score you'll need, as opposed to, running back to Pooh's house each time you increase your score, but it's still a cool detail. These last two things are from a site that Shane showed me called noclip.website, which has a ton of maps from a bunch of different games, including KH1 and 2, that let you free roam around and check out things you wouldn't normally be able to see. The first one takes us to Neverland. I'd always figured that all these rooms were just disconnected brown boxes, but if you view the ship hold on noclip here, you can see that the rooms actually are laid out in the shape of a pirate ship. It's kind of difficult to notice or appreciate when you're just experiencing it one room at a time, but as a whole it actually makes physical sense, so good job, world designers. Last one is something you may have heard of, and I actually referenced it in that Crocodile alternate timeline video. It's also something that's not technically in the playable game, just remnants of the game's code. But there's a cut room from End of the World called the Crumbling Island, which allegedly was going to be the site of one last battle between Sora and Riku Ansem, I would assume sometime after Chernobog but before Linked Worlds. The room is this big, multi-layered arena that definitely takes elements from Destiny Islands, what with the trees and the Pooh imagery. Everything's covered in toothpaste for some reason too. Pretty funky place even by End of the World standards. And as the world does end, so must the video. I don't know, I didn't really know how to end this one. Right? Hey, hope you enjoyed that little follow-up part 3-ish thing. I had the KH1 itch. I wanted to get back in there, find some stuff, show off some cool quirks. Didn't want to wait until I got like 20 or 25 again, so there you go. Didn't want to also like arbitrarily stretch it out by putting in things that I didn't think were that neat. I usually go like live action for these, but like I don't really... what's the occasion, I look the same. I look the same as I did last time. Thanks for watching. Got a couple of things planned, some more regular dad I think is in the works. Couple of, longer form video essay ideas that I've been juggling around, so look forward to that. Thank you guys for the support. We got a lot of patrons and a very good response from the KH2 Compendium, so I very much appreciate that. And we're gonna kick it to the outro now, so I will see you next time.